America is a place with many issues, but also many wonderful experiences. A while back, around the early 1900s, the United States was experiencing a massive industrial boom, fed by the mass immigration into the country. Based around Ellis Island in New York, these immigrants would flood into the country for the chance at economic success, fueled by what was, and is, known as the American Dream. This American Dream would lead people to believe that they could do anything in America, that the sky was the limit. In reality, the situation was very different, often creating poverty and pain. But then again, I would argue that the American Dream isn't a defined thing. It changes as a person changes, as their opportunity changes. The subject of the American Dream doesn't even have to have anything to do with America. It's a universal process of setting the highest goals for oneself and seeking such goals with all of their ability. This was seen by the aforementioned immigrants, who experienced this change firsthand from an economic viewpoint. So, on today's show, let's see how their American Dream remained fluent. First, we will see the life that most immigrants originally expected and hoped for in their new American life. Welcome to the interior of one of the rich houses of the early 1900s. Filled with paintings, carpets, and chandeliers, this was the dream of so many immigrants who came here unprepared for their harsh reality. They expected beauty, elegance, a land where they would be free from the struggles of their homes and able to live in any way they could. They wanted this glory, where they would be simply fine. But this, of course, was just a figment of their imagination. They wouldn't be able to read the newspaper in peace, to watch out the window, or to smell their flowers. Heck, they couldn't even expect a space as large as this. Instead, they were more likely to see this. This scaled replica of the tenements of the early 1900s, most commonly located in New York, where most immigrants arrived, shows only half the struggles which the immigrants truly experienced. In reality, these houses were much worse, often littered with trash and clothing, or filled with multiple families, all sharing the same unheated, dark rooms with no access to any of the necessary resources for viability. This was the reality they had to live in, sleeping in cramped bunks, making do with their limited storage, and falling under their terrible conditions. None of the immigrants had expected things to be this bad, and so they had to compromise with themselves to set the new highest goals which they, in this cursed, broken world, could set for themselves, and to seek those instead. And so, the new American Dream, for many, became a more modest living, not full of luxury, but full of life. Here we see the small, modest house, which has become the American house in recent history for its wonder. It's filled with the bare necessities and nothing more, something which the tenements lacked and the rich houses had too much of. It provides the balance between livelihood and necessity, between wealth and poverty, between the dream and the reality. This, for most people, became their American dream, what they aspired to gain. It became the harsh new focus of the immigrants, as their new reality shifted their new dream. This is reinforced by my mother's point of view.
How do you feel you failed in achieving your American dream?
I think I might have had a little bit of a too much of a positive outlook on what life here would be like. In the Netherlands, the healthcare is provided by the government and you don't have to pay a whole lot for it. Healthcare plans. I did achieve my American dream, but I definitely underestimated the hardships it would bring.
Overall, we can see how the reality of the people with the American dreams affected what their American dream truly was. Were they successful and lucky? Their dreams would be set at the highest of high. Were they unsuccessful and unlucky, those were dreams which seek only necessity. Adding to such, we can see this applied to more than just housing. From a person's career goals to the more relevant economic goals, dreams change. American dreams. Here, we can see what my grandfather, a complete Dutchman who never lived in America for a moment of his life, only on vacation here, has to say about it.
Do you believe that goals, such as a person's American dream, can change over time?
Yeah. I guess that dreams, any dream, will change when you're aging. When you're young, as a student, for example, it will be different from when you start working, when you start your first job.
It isn't, and never has been, a permanent thing, but a subject of fluidity, a reality of one's own goals. We can learn from this not to make our goals, or dream, or our American dream, permanent, but to be able to adapt and set new goals in life as it changes. That is the nature of the American dream, the nature of America.